Welcome to Persephone's Tavern. Welcome back to Ivila. I am your humble DM, Trevor Trent, joined as always, Hayden Poindexter,
Galil Oremender,
Austin Boyette,
Elara Viraleth,
Nick Lloyd,
Yuriael Gloomraven,
and Andrew Gold.
Asimir Ashford.
All right, well, it's been a while since we've had a chance to record, so we jump right into this little recap, get everyone back up to speed. Last we left off, the party, while avoiding a sudden freezing rainstorm, discussed the anguished, dissonant moaning sound that Galil heard carried on the wind over rolling thunder. Emboldened by the mystery at hand, they pushed back into the rain, and quickly realized that Edgar shouldn't be out in the weather. So they gave him some money and a mission to pay their room fees for the next day or two and wait for them there. Announcing himself as the Green Mask, he raced off towards the opal-called lantern to complete the task given to him. Distraction aside, they began running through the thickening mud towards the border watch, silhouetted in the night by lightning crashes and flickering light. Perplexed by the seeming indifference from the town watch, the party soon approached the tower. The aged tower, hundreds of feet high, built on a spire connected to the rest of the area by only a single drawbridge, clinging shut to the tower wall. Lightning crashed into the tower, seeming to repel back into the clouds and dissipate, creating crackling swirls of energy in the sky before fading. Only faint lights flickering in the portcullis windows indicated other activity inside. Without a means of crossing the massive gap, the party was at a loss until Yuriael noticed a figure standing beneath a nearby tree watching them. Recognizing him as the man he played dragon chess with before, Yuriael approached and inquired about a means to reach the tower. While he wasn't exactly forthcoming, but alluded to a path deep underground that would lead into the tower's foundation. After asking of Yuriel's intention with the tower, he divulged details of a cavernous region called the Cistern, and it suggested they began their search further down the mountain, at a place where the earth had recently been disturbed. He also mentioned a figure for whom the guards were looking. Without description, he would only say that the party would do well to avoid interfering with them, should their paths cross. Taking this information with a grain of salt, the party began to discuss how to proceed. After a moment to compare what they had learned through the day and considering where the old man's riddle was leading them, they soon realized that the ravine with the broken bridge could likely be their destination. Emboldened with a purpose and sense of direction, the party raced back out of the main gate of Bahamut's spine to begin the descent into the cold, rainy night. As they moved at a brisk pace down the main road, Yuriael noticed a creature tailing them on the high canyon walls. The party continued to move, but it wasn't long before they realized that there were more assailants approaching, crawling down the canyon walls like a jaguar. A pack of wargs sprang their attack. Just moments before a warg could pounce on Elara, Asimir launched a magical blast that slammed the creature into a cliff wall as it tumbled to the ground. The other creatures were not deterred as they continued to make their descent, many of them losing their footing and tumbling down the wet cliff violently in pursuit of their next meal. Despite their clumsiness, their numbers were formidable and the party quickly found themselves surrounded. Suddenly, Elara drew upon the power of the rainstorm above and summoned a lightning bolt into the warg feet away from Asimir. In the meantime, Yuriael used the distraction to cast a rope trick, providing a place to potentially retreat from the pack. Holding off the retreat, Galil charged in, hammer forward, unleashing a web of necrotic energy on one of the starling creatures. He stood his ground as Elara transformed into an astral form that covered her body in an aurora of northern stars, bolstering her ability before calling forth even more lightning. Yuriael, while attempting to lay down cover, fell from an opening created by his spell, nearly landing on Asimir as he slammed to the ground, but quickly cast a healing spell as the others fended off the wargs. Despite the initial instinct to retreat, the party quickly turned the tide of battle and slayed the remaining wargs. As confidence set in of their victory, there was a sudden sound of wing beats from above, followed by the sounds of a warg snarling and whimpering in pain. As silence set in before a cursory flash of lightning from Elara illuminated the unmistakable silhouette of a griffin flying away, carrying a slumped warg in its talons. And that is where we pick up.
We need to find shelter. It's pouring rain. It's the middle of the night. We just got ambushed by wargs.
How long does your little portal stay open there, Yuriael?
Fantastic question.
We've only been out for at most a couple of hours. If we wanted to hunker down on the night,
An hour.
we should have just stayed at the inn.
That's a good point.
I'm not afraid of a little water.
I can always dry up if I need to.
I don't think we're gonna get ate by water.
So you take stock of your surroundings, and you figure it's going to take about 4 more hours before you reach the ravine where the bridge crashed down.
How are we going to get across this bridge?
I think we need to get to the base of the bridge, right? Not the other side.
Asimir,
Yes.
speaking of cliffs and bases of cliffs and things of the sort,
The topography.
you're quite magical, aren't you?
Probably the most out of all of us.
Do you know any
Oh, wait, hold
fancy ways to keep us from dying should we just jump off the cliff?
Well, believe it or not, I was about to maybe make a suggestion. I do know a certain spell. Perhaps maybe don't have to walk all the way down the hill. Perhaps we could just jump off and I slowly drop us off at the bottom.
You first.
I support this decision.
Hey, I think that's the first time Yuriel's agreed with me.
I think we should get to walk in. I don't know. I'll go after you guys.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
The thing is, we would all have to do it at the same time.
Oh, of course.
Because how the spell works and wibbly wobbly weavy deevy stuff. That's how the spell works. Who wants to go cliff diving?
Well, first we need to make it to the cliff. So
Onward.
I say we go.
Of course.
Stand around the way.
I'll scout things out.
Do you think we should go at a slow pace? I think after what we've just seen, it might not be a bad idea.
Maybe. Let me just get like 60 feet in front of you guys. I'll try and stay hidden and alert you if anything.
How are you gonna alert me? That is not a natural bird.
I'll make it sound like one.
I'm gonna cast Pass Without Trace. You get a +10 to your stealth check.
Oh.
That helps out
20.
a lot.
Okay, so
Well,
you
have to.
get a good beat on the trail, make sure you're going the right way through some of the more nondescript areas of rock formations. Like I described before in a earlier recording, that this area is a very much a labyrinth of like canyons and breakaways and cut-throughs, and so in the dark on this path that you guys haven't traveled yet, you're very much focused on trying to make sure you don't actually lose where the road is. You can see cart trails, but you can also see that every little divot and ounce of space that can hold water is full of water, making the ground very tough to kind of figure out what's what. But you guys make a slow pace of it, and you don't get anything like any sort of, you particularly scouty head, don't get that sense that you're being tracked anymore. Everything's very still.
Yeah, we can't be tracked.
So you kind of both notice this as you're walking, maybe not worth mentioning, but you do hear just an ever so distant, echoous sound of moving water. You think, Yuriel, you particular, think that it could just be little splits in the rock formations, little entrances into the underground areas where water's filtering through and just kind of echoing off the rocks. But you guys, as sharp senses, you do kind of hear this, especially with such a slow, deliberate pace. You do hear a considerable amount of running water that is coming down this mountain at all, like everywhere. It's just kind of finding any way you can get down the hill. So just something you notice as you're moving. But otherwise, the next several hours are miserable, soaked, but otherwise undisturbed as you guys move down the mountain. And you begin coming around this corner, and you break away and you begin to see this familiar setting of the area near the ravine about 2 hours after midnight. You guys are absolutely exhausted. It's still raining, it's still freezing, but you see in the distance, Yuriel, just the faintest hint of the rotted out, ruddy bridge posts on your side of the ravine.
Well, do you think we'd find better shelter down there, or should we hunker down up here for the night?
I think we should try to find the mouth of the cistern.
I was about to say
We shouldn't hunker down.
we should probably get to our destination first. As we saw the bunch of warriors up there, I can set up an alarm, but it still can't help us in a huge ambush situation.
So we're jumping?
Can I approach the ravine to look around and see if I can see any disturbed earth or rocks that aren't naturally where they should be?
So your light extends 30 feet from you. It can't see. It gets out past where it's dim. You see that there's a lot of jutting rocks where
At the edge of the
light
light
goes.
blackness.
Yeah, it really slopes down at a high grade, and it kind of goes down, and you immediately see where parts of the rock have cleaved up and make these like almost plate-like spires down it.
Through, you can
Dangerous.
see through down the ravine, can we?
Not without a light source. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
You see him at the edge of it, kind of holding his light out there and just looking.
Let me try. I pull out my book and flip to a couple pages in
Starts getting soaking wet.
Don't worry, it's laminated. So this is from the spell book. I try to do it quickly because it is reading. Just pull out these little glowing glyphs, and I'm going to cast Dancing Light and just kind of throw them out. Maybe I can reach a little bit farther down with that.
So you come up next to Galil, and from kind of the perimeter where he's holding the light up, you drop some of your globules down, and they just kind of float down, and right at the edge of his light creates another globe, and it goes down the edge, and you slowly work it down in space. Are you trying to space it out as even?
Yeah, just so we can get as much distance
See,
covered.
your lights go down to about 60 feet before they're in this very thick, bunched up area of jutted up rocks, but you see that there's a definitive bottom there.
The bad
and
rocks.
you can now see with that light source at the bottom, you probably have two globules that made it all the way down that far. That are kind of swirling in just a little 20-foot circle. You do see like the crushed up remains of a wagon.
How deep was it?
60 feet.
We have 100 feet of rope.
Yes, but we also have a very skilled wizard with us.
I've also always wanted to jump off a cliff.
What do you propose?
I heard about it as a wee lad.
Well, I'm a little excited. I have never really got to use this spell at all. I'm kind of being given an opportunity, and now I'm kind of looking forward to it. Uriel, do you want to go jump off a cliff?
I would love that. Just don't fuck this up.
Hey, you know what? Let me get my book out now. Let me just go ahead and reread the spells real quick.
What manner of spell is this?
My professor called this feather fall. It's a transmutation spell. Basically, as we fall, we just gently float down to the ground. Once we get to the floor, the spell ends, and we just land perfectly fine. I can take me as well as a handful of other people.
How would we get back up if we needed to?
Well,
That's the fun of it. You don't.
are we planning on going back up this way?
We never know what we'll find down there.
Cast it twice on me. I'm pretty heavy.
Well, I mean,
I'm much weaker on this planet than where I'm from.
Can't you turn into a bird or something? All right, well, hit that spell.
you see, it can't work while we're on the ground. We have to jump first.
How will secure
My 50 feet of rope.
Is that true?
We have to be in midair for
Do we want to hold hands? I want to hold hands.
You'll grab.
Hold hands. I grab it as a beard's hand.
I grabbed it. I think you'll be fine. 60 feet. I mean, it's probably just gonna be both of the legs being broken. We'll do fine.
Didn't have it.
Do we have to touch each other?
No, but he just needed a little comfort.
Okay. Grab her. No.
Hey, I got a 15 strength for a wizard. Oh, you jump?
Have you cast the spell?
Not yet.
You can't on the way down. Did you cast it? Or he yells, I told you we have to do it together.
He just goes, well, actually.
What's the range?
So, Austin's new character comes in.
Yeah.
Crystals. The Undying. Is that the gag? Well, Austin has a new character. Those will be our arcs.
This, yeah.
Let's just do this.
Okay.
I say a quick prayer to Andromeda. Say, guide us on the way down. He's just a boy. He know not what he do. Guide his hand.
He's just a boy.
Just going through the little finger motions that my book is telling me, and okay,
Why
think
don't
I
you
got this
jump
right.
first?
We all have to do it at the same time, or else I'm the only one who's going down right.
I want to grab both of their hands and try to run and jump.
I will grab the rope that I have secured.
I will see what they're doing, and just as soon as I see them going for it, I like no regrets to anything at all. I take a running leap off the edge and do like a.
I'm physically trying to grab you.
Do you resist?
Yeah.
All right, give me a strength check. Opposing against the wheels.
Oh, we're good.
He's trying to drag you.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
I'm resisted the cliff.
Yeah, guys, Yuriael just jumped off.
7.
Yeah, more.
One more.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah,
I thought I'd be too quick. 17.
you're like, you see them start running. Galil grabs Asimir's hand and starts running.
All right,
you're like,
we're doing
I'm
this.
pretty sure I have a rope. And then you just all go.
All right.
I want to do like a spinning fucking do a dive like.
You guys jump off the cliff
Clear
and
away.
a crash of lightning illuminates the sky as you guys are midair.
All right.
Draw it up. Draw it up, fans.
Please, digital artists.
I go ahead and
Make sure you put Johnny Rocks in the foreground for perspective.
Yeah. Sharp, real sharp.
I go ahead and start moving my fingers in the air, and the spell isn't prepared.
Wait.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's prepared. No, it's always.
Oh, I was kidding.
Yeah. I guess feather fall on us,
Okay.
except on
You
Yuriael.
guys all get this rushing stomach in your chest feeling as you feel the gravity take hold of your bodies and you begin to plummet rapidly towards jutting rocks. And then you hear Asimir begin to speak this incantation. Suddenly you all begin to feel weightless. Your clothes begin to flutter and almost shake away the water as you guys float back down gently. And you have to put your hands out and kind of avoid the rocks as you go, but you catch a flat face of them and you guys all slide down to the bottom, narrowly avoiding falling into the trash and rubble from these wrecked carts.
Check for bodies.
Yeah.
This is.
And no sign of animals in this vicinity. You guys are all still getting, pelted by water. And the sound of moving water is like a roaring waterfall from where you're standing. You're getting this constant sound of static in the background from this. But as you're looking around, Asimir, you take in the scene, and you quickly come to the conclusion that anything that was organic is not here. And beyond that, there's no body, there's no blood. I mean, you maybe see a little here, but not enough to indicate that somebody was perished in this crash.
Okay.
It's odd.
So,
However, everything seems to have been rifled through. Like there's no belongings or anything taken, anything that was of any inherent value, not just like economically, but like societally, like
Metal.
raw materials and anything usable has been moved, and you do notice drag marks moving away from the scene into the darkness.
You convey any of that?
I'm just going to go ahead and say, well, this may seem rather odd, but for 60 feet, I think they made it up pretty fine.
Was this Edgar's?
If Edgar's story lines up correctly, this is Edgar's caravan.
Weren't they hauling magic items?
Well, they were until somebody might have.
You think somebody killed him?
Knowing what I know about Edgar's caravan and putting the connections together, can I check out and see if there are hidden compartments like the one I found?
Any like sort of structural integrity of the wagons is completely annihilated.
Okay.
Any secret compartment has been sundered open and easily rifled through.
Can I use my excellent sense of nature to maybe put my ear to the wall or the floor or whatever and try to ascertain where I'm hearing this rushing water
I was about
sound?
to say, is it going through the ravine? 22.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's almost like it's bombarding your senses. Like, there's got to be some moving water somewhere, but the acoustics of this stone chamber and the way it's bouncing off the ravine is just making it hard to discern. Is it rainwater? Is it moving below your feet? You do feel like water under your feet. Like there is water coming through these rocks from the drain off from above, from the rain. So you know that this water's got to go somewhere.
Can I help Elara search for the water by I see her trying to figure it out and see that she's frustrated or whatever, and give her some sage survival advice, give them the help action.
You see that this area is pretty close off towards the southern area enough you can see that water is able to kind of filter through, but you see that the drain off is coming out of the mountain more so than coming in from above.
That's got me the Cistern.
Okay, so you guys traverse through this narrow, craggy outlet, water soaking your boots as it passes through and past you back towards where you've come from. And as you go, the sound of approaching water gets louder and louder and louder.
This is where the water's coming from.
Yes.
No way.
Beyond that, you're beginning to wonder if the water that's waiting for you is too much to deal with. As you guys enter into this massive cavern opening, you see the silhouettes of shadowed huge pillars of stone that reach from floor to ceiling, setting your line of sight, making you realize that you're standing high up on a plateau of a much larger cavern that goes further and further down the further you go. You hear the way that every sound echoes for an indescribable distance before it fades. No different than if you were in the open mountains above. The ground meanders like a labyrinth of bluffs and valleys, and sparse openings in the ceiling that might allow flitters of sunlight to enter this chamber during the day are now spewing rainwater like cathedral gutters, creating numerous flowing waterfalls from ceiling to floor. The air is cold and damp, and even the floor around you as you begin to move into the space is littered with slick ice. These patches ahead of you can recognize even in the darkness as they glitter like stars, patches along the otherwise black abyss of this cavern.
Can I keep my dancing lights up?
Sure, as long as the spell allows. Here you go.
I pull out a candle, a tinderbox. I light the candle and throw it in a hole. I want to see how far down it goes.
I mean, you chuck this candle and it just goes swirling as far as you can throw it, and then as soon as it hits the ground, it just breaks off of whatever and just rolls until it hits a bit of ice and the ground extinguishes. I mean, you probably got a good throw. Probably 120 feet you tossed that candle before it went out. You see it bounced off of some rocks and stuff, and you could see like some rising elevation off the sides of it, parts that dip down. It's very uneven terrain.
Do we, now that we've
all
made
very
it
slick.
outside of the rain, do we want to try to hunker down and get some rest and maybe hope that after the storm clears, some light trickles in through those openings?
Do we want to try to take a rest in the ice-covered cave?
We have a tent, sleeping bags, I think.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I suppose we're already here. I mean,
Well, nobody makes fire better than the dwarves, so...
Can I gather a little bit of wood from the outside of the... Like,
it's
is
not
there any, like...
completely soaked.
Are you a wizard or aren't you?
How do we get the wood?
Get the wood. I have an idea.
Gather up some wet wood from the thing.
Yeah, and then I bring it back, and I say maybe we should leave the front of the cave so we're not, creating a light source right here for everyone to see.
Agreed.
Probably.
I want to look around inside and see if there's, like, maybe an alcove we could get to pretty close to here.
Other than where you just came from, the little tunnel, nothing in your vicinity that you can see really rings out of something that's going to cover you to an extent. Even Galil's light from his hammer is creating this extremely bright contrast where you're at. Anything that can see light in the vicinity probably has already noticed you guys shining like a beacon in the hole.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead and prestidigitate this fire.
Alrighty. Check this shit out. Wizard power. And I prestidigitate the wood to be dry.
Alright, easy enough. It's dry wood.
I'll light it on fire.
Check this out. Wizard power. I light it using prestidigitation.
No. I cast Produce Flame and light it.
Nice.
Cast prestidigitation to snuff it, and then cast prestidigitation to light it again.
Nice.
Well, you can't light a campfire with prestidigitation.
Actually,
Thought it was like only candles and stuff. Stuff that's meant to be
I think
lit.
you can put out like torches and stuff, and you can also change the color of fire.
I think that's actually more purview of thaumaturgy.
We need a DM ruling. Who started the fire? I vote that it's the spell that's designed to produce fire.
I vote it's a spell.
It's a spell that is designed to do almost everything else.
Galil walks up with his tinderbox and lights.
Yes, that was a good idea. That was a recall. Are we using the tent?
We'll need to.
Yes. Yeah. I can sleep at the mouth of the tent. Well, I don't really sleep, but I can stay on watch.
Well,
I sleep heavy.
if you guys would want to, I can cast a spell that can
Alarm us?
keep watch for us, even. Like, this might be weird, but I can take a lot of precautions for us to have a nice rest or if something happens. I've recently learned a new spell. It hasn't really came up yet, but if one of you guys would like to try to get my bag without me looking, it'd be very interesting to what would happen.
I'm going to sleep. I start taking off my armor.
If you wrap my hand at the wrist and at my elbow.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. We can have watch. I'll just still set up my alarm anyways.
Well, I don't need to sleep.
You don't?
Yes.
No.
Convenient elven trance.
Weird fey bullshit. Alrighty.
I want to take one of the burning sticks and sort of try to thaw out an area for the tent to go.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's not like that permafrost. Like, the ground is cold, but it's mostly stone. It's not like ice completely covered in ice. It's not like a Super Mario level.
And there's probably a floor to the tent,
But
too.
they're like, basically anywhere that I said that you could look out in the darkness and see glittering stars, it's likely light bouncing off of ice patches.
Well, yeah, if you want to go ahead and do it, Asimir is just going to go ahead and take a spool of wire out of his bag and just start laying a perimeter out with it and casting the spell, and it just kind of goes into the ground around us.
And I'm going to take out 6 of my candles.
Okay.
And I'm going to light them and kind of put them around the camp so there's some ambient light. And then I'm going to go and sit down in front of the campfire and pull out one of my rations and just start eating and sort of telling an old story about how when I was a kid I used to come out and play in these hills and I'd never seen this before. I'm kind of bewildered by it, but I'm also kind of just reminiscing on being a dwarf in the hills when I was younger.
I'll pull out one of my rations of dried fruit from the Feywilds that I still have and just start munching on those. Pull out my star glass and reminisce about falling asleep under my familiar stars.
All right.
But,
I want to break out my last bottle of whiskey and get fucking hammered.
That's not a good idea.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
And I invite anybody for shots with me that wants.
Shots, anybody?
I use my wizard power to make the alcohol no longer alcohol.
I'll punch you in your fucking face, wizard. Use your
I
powers.
turned one into water up in this bitch.
I swear to God, if I drink this and it's water,
Strength G rating.
You get one of them Zephyr strikes.
This is a dry party.
Did you
I
turn
will
my Coke to
kick
Pepsi?
your wizard ass. I swear to God.
You could make it alcohol that doesn't taste like alcohol, though, right?
I could.
I want to try that.
I could do prestidigitation. Fading cantrip. I
Yeah,
love it so much.
just make mine taste like strawberry, please.
Can you make it taste like apple cider?
Probably. I mean,
Something in my blood really loves apple cider.
one apple cider.
Yeah, we
you know
can go
what?
for apple cider.
You know what? Wizard powers. And I touch the bottle.
I try to tune all this
So you
out.
think
You get hammered, but you get the kind of hammered where you're chasing your shots all night long, and you're just like, I don't get it. I'm not getting fucking drunk. And by about the time you're at the end of the bottle, you finally pass the fuck out.
Thank God.
He's halfway about to kill me because he doesn't think he's getting wasted.
Yeah, he turned it into actual fucking apple
like
juice.
before I go to sleep, I like side eye and you're lucky motherfucker. You're a real lucky motherfucker. I swear to God, I was gonna. Oh my God, I was gonna.
Here, put on the mask. I'll show you, motherfucker. Put on the mask.
Asleep.
All right, so you guys reminisce and get drunk
I suppose.
and spend an hour or two preparing your spells for tomorrow.
I would kind of like to.
Speaking of which, I would like
Yeah, change your spells up if you need to.
Change them to all your cave
The
spells.
Spellcasters.
Yeah.
You guys slowly fall asleep to the sound of running water.
Sometime before I pass out, I do want to pull out the Rod of the Pact Keeper. And I just kind of want to study it of sorts, just kind of glean off of it, like what's going on with it. Maybe I just wanted to
attune to it.
of sorts, I suppose.
Damn, I'm not a wizard.
Yes or no?
Yes. Let's say
This is D&D mechanics.
let's say yeah. I want to attune to it. Thinking about of like who we plucked it off of, and like we're in the mountains where they came from. It's like this is getting a little creepy. Just kind of thinking about it to myself in my head. If Elara is still up, Elara would also be hearing what's going on in my head for about like a little snippet of like 30 seconds. It's like fucking weird Spider-Man or whatever. Just I mean, who was he? He had a family. This all weird thing, and then it just kind of cuts off.
Okay, so you're concentrating on this rod for a while. Suddenly begin to feel this pull to it, this power. You suspected based off of his identify spell that it was a magical item, so you expected this. But as you concentrate on it, you begin to hear this sort of ringing, this sort of high-pitched, just barely in the back of your
Oh, my tinnitus.
Yeah, just like that. Like it is like tinnitus of being like
static.
a completely silent space. Probably for the first time ever in this day and age. It's almost like you can't hear the waterfalls for a second, just that sound. And as you're concentrating on it, you feel suddenly a touch, someone's hand on your right shoulder. Long fingers slowly touch your shoulder.
Yeah, and then it just slightly ignored, and then it just kind of registers, and just kind of
I'm just gonna
look
pretend
behind
I
myself real quick.
It gives you a welcome.
Huh? Oh, gives me what, Willie?
I'm a ghost.
A boo.
You will never get me.
It will never get you. It will never get you.
Yeah, I realized something's kind of touching my shoulder. I hastily just kind of like freak out and look over it to see if I can get a view of whatever it might have been.
You don't see anything. As soon as you react to it, the feeling goes away. And just as you're like, what the... You hear a sound come from behind your bedroll. Just a shifting sound and then a... Floop, floop. Well, no, you heard a shifting in your pack. It didn't trigger your magic mouth, though.
I'll go check that out. Yeah, no, I'll open up my bag and...
You don't even get that far. You turn around and look, and you see your grandfather's spell book is just laying on the ground next to the pack. Closed.
So it's not opened or anything.
Just on the ground, back cover up, spine out, like it fell out of the book and just rolled onto the ground.
Do I hear any of this going on? Because I'm not asleep. 17 passive perception.
You don't hear the whisper or anything. You might have heard something for his
shifting
area, but you wouldn't have thought of anything as him just getting into stuff.
I will say you did hear my internal monologue about the whole spider creature in the mines for like 30 seconds. I grabbed my grandfather's book and just kind of pick it up, look at it, kind of feel it, not really wipe down any sort of moisture that it probably got from the rain, and just give it one little thumb through and probably put it down and go to bed.
Nothing stands out as you flip through. Everything's as it was. You do notice that it is getting considerably wet and damp. Pages are kind of wavy and crinkled on the edges, and
Shit, I should have laminated his book.
Could you prestidigitate it?
Weird magic. Prestidigitate.
there's no reaction from the book. You fan out the pages. It seems mostly fine.
Yeah,
Just clap it shut was the satisfying sounding.
put it back in the bag and
You're left with your thoughts.
You start to hear the calm rumbling of a dwarf snoring, starting to heavily compete with the waterfall sounds.
Do you have sleep apnea?
I snore. I snore hard. I sleep hard. Andromeda protect me. No reason not to.
She'll make sure I'm breathing.
Yeah. And if you don't, I'll be with her.
And just kind of look over at the crew, maybe take a peek at Elara, who's, I don't know what you're doing, but just take a deep sigh and just nestle in, get comfortable as I can be in the cold cave. And then I just go to sleep after that.
Can I attempt to wake up earlier? Like an hour earlier or something like that? Enough that I still get a long rest, but maybe before everybody else wakes up.
Sure. You probably passed out early because of the inebriation.
I just want to like look around and get a good bearing for everything.
As you're waking up, you notice you guys went to sleep super late. It's like after midnight, well after midnight. When you guys got to the ravine, you traveled for another hour or so before you found a place where you're willing to camp. So, getting your full rest, it's well into the morning, 10, 11 o'clock before you guys wake back up. But you get up just a little earlier before that, and the first thing you notice is how bitterly cold you are. Now that the rain has stopped, everything has kind of just glazed over in frozen ice. There's a a fine, foggy mist of water vapor that's just kind of clinging to the walls and to the floor.
Don't remind me.
And there's not more ice than there was yesterday. It's not more wet than it was last night. But seeing everything from the light fluttering through, you can see much further. At least in context, you're seeing where the light's coming through and illuminating part of these pillars, and you see miles in the distance of where you might have to travel to find where you're going.
I see. Okay, are there... I mean, this is like an area, not just an underground cavern. So I imagine there's some kind of wildlife.
Nothing in your general vicinity. No.
Okay. Can I spend the morning before everybody like fully wakes up trying to scrounge around for some breakfast? Whether that be like a rabbit or some berries?
And while you're looking, you don't find any in your vicinity, but you do find strange tracks. You find these almost web-like looking feet prints and drag marks that are closer than not to the little cavern ravine, or little cavern sluice that went back to the ravine. That's in the more or less in that area. You find more drag marks and little feet prints.
Huh. I'll make a mental note of that and where it's at, and go back to the camp and wait for everybody to wake up.
As you approach the camp, I want to yell out of the tent and say, "Feed that fire, boy, it's freezing."
My dogs are cold.
I'm not coming out of this tent until that fire's bigger.
I could go search for some more wood, but I'll have to lay it down next to the fire because it's wet. And
So,
wake
Imagine Galil's hair gets real frizzy in the cold, like static and shit.
yeah.
I'm not having a good morning. I wake up, my nose is cold. I hate it.
All right. So you guys have, vaguely taken in your surroundings. You know this area that you guys assume is the cistern is quite massive, and you see this journey laid before you guys. You guys have had trouble finding any sort of animals or anything to eat, but you do manage to scratch up enough provisions and rations to get a good breakfast and get ready to go. I would like to proceed.
mine is 2
Ration
rations.
list.
I would say that the light quality here is dim across the board. There's some dark spaces and some places where light comes through and creates these almost spotlight points in areas, but for the most part, a majority of it is dim light.
I just want to point out why we're in the cistern is to try to find a route up to that tower. So I don't necessarily think we should go diving as deep as we need. It may be more of straight back that we need to go and look up into the west towards where the tower was and trying to find
It would be hopefully east. Northeast.
I pull out a torch, produce a flame, light it, and hand it to you.
It's very nice of you. Thank you.
No,
I appreciate this, Elara. This is very nice.
I look towards the east and see if there's a clear passage or just a line of sight that way.
Yes, I
So
do
we
have
could travel.
You can see like you give me a perception check as you do that, but just based off of your passive, which I think is a 15 or a 14, you see that the general shape of this cavern is it goes out for a mile or two and almost does a right sort of bend. And so you can tell that the cave does head off an opening that is east to northeast direction.
Around the bend about a mile or two.
Could also be going either more in the other direction too. Like it almost seems like as you're looking out and seeing where the edges of the walls are in relation to how big the ceilings are, that this space could even get larger as you guys go.
So, did you say there was running water in here? Like a...
At this point in the morning, now no more.
Is the ice like
There was runoff from all the rains cutting through openings in the ceiling, and now they're just a trickle.
Okay.
And light is flittering through.
Stupid.
I meant to ask this about last night. With that rod, does it look like it's made out of any sort of material like the aether site or aether site or aetherite site?
Aether sight.
Give me either a nature or arcana check.
Arcana.
My arcana is +7.
Majority of
So
the
that's pretty accurate.
crafts of the rod is steel. However, these sections of the design, which almost look like little diamond shapes, like not shaped like a gemstone, like an actual like diamond shaped four-sided figure, that go up and taper down in size as it goes down the length of the shaft. You see that each of those little stone inlets looks like it's made of obsidian, but then on closer inspection you realize that it has infused aetherite running through it.
Interesting.
So it is of a similar metal as to other things that you guys have been finding.
Yeah, I'll say I just take a quick peek at that to assess that, and then I just put it back in my bag.
You gonna let your old friend Galil know?
Honestly, I don't know if I want you to know.
Drama.
Let's move on.
All right. You guys gonna head on in?
Yeah. I mean, I got the.
All right. You start heading along, and it's not long before you start finding Elara some more concrete paths through all of the winding bluffs. You hit a few dead ends, but before long you realize that there's more or less a main sort of section of runoff that has eroded through this cavern. And once you kind of find that, riverbed and follow it, it essentially gives you a path that yields miles of travel. About 2 hours in,
This is a deep fucking cave.
Yeah.
Yuriael and Elara, you both hear this sound, this sort of screeching sound from overhead. And as you look up, you see these black, shadowy shapes that almost look like flying robes that just fly past you, 2 of them, one after another.
I love this.
They come towards you, do this wide circle around a pillar, and go off into the distance. And you can kind of trace their line of sight as they glide overhead and then head towards a nearby ridge and then sort of do a swoopy like dive bomb down as they quickly engage with something over the side of that ridge.
So,
You said flying
We
like.
need to remain hidden.
do I have any idea what these creatures are?
I was about to say, these are.
Hidden. I mean, we
said
got
very-
torches up. They just flew right over us. They know we're here.
It looks like they were about to engage something.
They were high, but you would imagine that. You're not sure what it is, but you feel pretty confident it's nothing that would have origins of the Fade. About 120 feet up in the dim light, it's difficult to really see much detail.
You're saying flying robes?
Okay, yeah. I thought you said.
Like you wear?
Yeah, like a bit of linen that's just black.
Not gonna lie, I thought you said robes.
Yeah.
Oops. And I was like,
That would be scarier, I feel like.
It has like a glider quality to it. It's wider in the front, like wings, but beyond that, it almost just looks like cloth flying away. And they pass over and then dive bomb over the edge of this ridge.
this was a herd of flying
And
squirrels.
as you two trace where that they went, you do see just this ambient shimmer of light, kind of like the inside of a YMCA where the water is hitting the swimming pool and bouncing up the walls. You see that shimmery wall effect go up the side of a cavern, and you see where it's just kind of almost illuminating the area in a way.
Any chance we could put that light out, or is it
We should.
absolutely necessary?
Um,
Is it dark or dim?
It's dim for the most part. You guys can see, 30 to 60 feet out.
it'll be fine. I mean, wizard powers. Snuff it out. Prestidigitation.
And there's a degree of backlighting going on from all these random light sources, so you can't so much see close to you, but by getting a little bit of a vantage point and looking at the horizon, you do get kind of a
Silhouette,
sense
yeah.
of situation from that.
Just watch your step. I will cast Pass Without Trace again.
All right, so you guys keep going on the path towards the east, or do you head towards where those things were?
I mean, I feel like
Our mission is more important.
Keep an eye out for those things for sure, though.
yeah. Those glowy things, so they go towards the water reflection room area?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were heading towards that area with what seemed like some level of intent.
Right.
And then, so it's good for y'all. Continuing east, where you guys believe that you're going to find the foundation of the towers.
Yuriael,
Missing
can you keep your eyes peeled for?
I will. I want to be on high alert.
No, you guys are tremendously well hidden. You guys are moving along this path, and Elara's leading the way well. She seems to have gotten a pretty good sense of direction in this space. So your progress hasn't been impeded at all. It's 4 hours of very well travel. But as you're coming up to this, into that 4th hour, as I've said, you begin to hear the sound of shifting rock from overhead. You guys are passing through this thin crevasse between some jutting rocks, keeping a low profile as you guys move through this space, and you hear something above you. And as you guys look up, when you make your roll a perception check for this, it'll be quite obvious. You see this form crawl over the opening that you guys are traveling through. It seems completely unaware of your presence as you see the underbelly of a large serpentine creature with stubby, muscular legs that move it across the floor like a centipede. And you see as it does, it's got this almost pale blue, icy skin. You see it just crawls over. You see this whip-like tail kind of slumps into your little dugout and drags some stones down over your heads as you guys are trying to keep a low profile, and it just whips in and slides off. You feel the weight of just that chunk of tail that dropped down into your space as this massive creature crawls over you and disappears into the darkness.
I'll grab some of the stones that just fell down, 3 of them, cast magic stone, and I want to hand them to Asimir.
I think I won't say anything.
What's that? Who said that?
Guys, did you see that?
Don't make it sound. Okay, Professor. What?
I'll go ahead and point kind of like in a general direction. It's like down that way, the cave, back where the care are coming from.
I want to look. So we've made it down the opening a couple of miles, around the bend a couple of miles now.
Yeah, forward. I mean, you guys have probably come a good ways. There's been some backtracking and stuff involved.
I do a survival check to see if I still feel like we're moving in the general direction of the tower.
Oh, definitely. And you've gotten to a point, not long after this encounter with this creature, you've gotten to a point where it's starting to taper back down the size of this cave, and you feel it starting to funnel you back towards more of a tunnel. It's still massive. We're still talking, hundreds of feet from floor to ceiling, but whereas it was miles across, maybe it's only a mile or two wide at this point.
As we've been going along and I've been scouting and keeping like an eye out on everything, have I seen anything that looks like it was once upon a time holy grounds or
Ruins?
Not to this point, no.
Okay.
Nothing seems like civilized land.
I'm keeping a lookout for that because I remember
Keep a lookout for enemies.
Chess Senpai told me the holy ground was disturbed where we need to be.
No, he didn't say anything about holy ground. He just said
Just a hole in the ground. Definitely. Can I use my stone cutting now to see if these are natural made caverns?
I made a note of that.
Yeah, you feel pretty confident that up to this point you haven't seen anything that's been worked by civilized hands.
Okay.
It's all natural stone up to this point. You notice that the rough terrain and labyrinthian nature of the Cistern starts to even out, and you find yourself on what feels like the bottom side of a hill, in a sense. Smoothed out stone that tapers up into this more narrowed opening that I mentioned of this wider cavern. You still see pillars from here to there, but a lot of just stone seems completely bare. You don't know if it's because erosion, or if something has burrowed its way out of it, but it's not as impassable and caked with ice as the earlier sections were. And as you guys begin climbing up this hill, you begin to see small little remnants of wooden structures, abandoned fixtures and things. And as you're noticing just odd bits of like rotted out and ashen wood, you see a small little shack, just a little miner's shack, built up flush against the side of a wall. And as you approach it, you can hear now, like, once again, the sound of running water nearby.
So this looks like we've stumbled into a mine.
Potentially, or at least a mining situation, a camp, outpost, or something.
Okay.
It is some semblance of civilization.
I wonder if the shaft that leads up to the tower is through that shack and upwards, or
Only one way to find out.
I want to turn around and look back over the cavern at large. I assume I can see that. I want to try to perceive any movement, such as the thing that we encountered earlier.
You look back and you see a almost otherworldly but otherwise completely serene landscape. Other in the distance, a few little black shadowy figures that float around in between the pillars intermittently, like birds on a horizon.
No sight of the creature.
with a little bit of work, Ice Cavern might make a pretty good base.
I'm saying, idea.
Would y'all want to
That's an awful idea.
this area?
You got to think about the erosion from the ice. I mean,
It's ever changing. The world's ever changing.
Yeah, we could heat this place up.
yeah, but like one bad structure from like just a slip. I mean,
You don't
it's
understand. He's a dwarf.
Yeah. There's no chance of lightning hitting you ever.
He could turn
You gotta
this place
weigh
into
it
a
out.
I wouldn't say
fortress.
ever.
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 Listen, I know a couple of people who can bring you the lightning. That's what I'm saying.
Not in
won't
this
be allowed
place.
here,
Nah. No lightning allowed.
lightning
Rule
allowed right
number
at the
one.
Right at the gate.
Rule number one.
That's rule number one. No lightning.
No
If you
lightning.
bring lightning in, you're kind of messing up the whole
Yeah.
function of the place.
Not cool.
Can we get out of here?
I ripped out a page in my spellbook real quick.
We could bring those little orphan kids here too.
Oh, another cave for the orphans.
Yeah.
Okay, just
Orphans
200 miles up the mountain.
Electric Boogaloo.
The revenge of Danny DeVito.
Electric Boogaloo.
So,
you know,
right in front of us, a mining outpost, kind of.
Kind of. It's
building.
sparse. Everything seems absolutely annihilated to time, except for this one shack that still exists.
History.
So, the only real check I could do is weigh it against nature, basically. But can I try to discern if it showed up after the other structures, or if it's just still standing because
The only structure.
it was built better? Or
I mean, potentially. You guys get closer to the building, or you? Guys...
yeah, I'm gonna approach it and test the wood and everything.
Okay. You can tell that while this building is likely just as old as all the ruined structures around here, it has been maintained and kept, secure. It's using recycled parts from what you can tell from the nearby area, but otherwise it seems sturdy.
I want to look inside.
There is just a simple little door, but you do see a little tiny window right next to the door that you can peek through. It's dusty as all get out, but
I'll peek.
you see a very simple little storage shed. There's some old barrels and crates in the corner. You see a wooden shelf up against the back wall and a hook hanging on the wall with a lantern hanging on it. The lantern is lit.
It's like a coat hook.
Oh,
Whoa, wait.
I kind of wave everybody over to look inside as well.
I whisper.
You don't immediately see anybody inside. It otherwise looks abandoned, other than just this faint amber glow coming from this lantern.
Is this up against the built into the wall, or
No, it's just standing. It's just a standing little structure.
standing above it?
It's very close to the wall, but it doesn't seem to be actually connected to it. Like, you can walk all the way around it. There's about 2 feet of space from the cavern wall to the back of the shed.
So,
I will walk all the way around.
first instincts whenever I see that.
From that side, you don't see anything unusual. There's some old clutter, and you see a chimney pipe that comes out of the back and sticks up, kind of crooked and mishandled.
Is there heat or smoke coming out of it?
Not currently.
This-
Ask Yuriael, how long can an oil lantern burn?
I feel like that's something Yuriael would know.
Probably. I mean, general rule of thumb, several hours. Like you could use one.
I think it's like
almost all
4
day
to
long.
8 hours or something.
Should we check
Today.
this out?
Today.
Here, let me,
No, definitely. Like you would burn one out in 24 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know it's definitely today.
let me take a look at
If
this.
not within the last
Can
12 hours.
I check the door entryway, like see if it's trapped or anything?
Okay, yeah, traps.
Check for traps? Sure. Give me an investigation.
Just say work.
A 7.
A 7.
That's terrible, bro.
Doesn't see a trap that you can tell. The door has a it's just like a ring handle. It doesn't look like it has any sort of like tumbler system or anything.
I'm pretty sure it's not trapped. Elara, would you like to go in?
How far in is that lantern?
From the door, it's on the back wall from the door, 20 feet.
Here, give me 1 second before anyone goes in
If
there.
that.
Detect magic real quick.
Yeah, before I keep.
I go
Good
to
idea.
knock on the door, and as I do, he sees me, grabs your detect magic.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wave my finger in the air, then draw a line across my eyes and just detect magic.
You don't see anything. Nothing glows through the, you just see, the world as you would.
Okay.
And then the knock resonates.
And
And then you hear this rock, it's like this hollow thud on this wood. And you hear
come
this
back
brass ring on the handle jiggle.
Wait.
About a minute or two passes and you hear nothing.
guys, this is legitimate. This isn't magic.
Check the handle. Reach down to the doorknob, twist it.
There's no twisting at all. It's just a ring on a hook, and you can pull it open.
Do so.
All right. Door aches open with a creak, and you smell like the inside of an attic, just this dusty, kind of forgotten smell.
I call out, "Hello? Is anyone in here? We're looking for a passageway. Is there anyone in here that might be able to point us in the right direction?"
You hear nothing.
That's a bad.
I will take a rock.
What's your passive perception?
My passive perception? I have a negative, so.
I want to take a rock and roll it across the floor towards the lantern.
Okay.
It's weird.
Kind of clicks and clacks across the floor.
Nothing.
Nope, it's not a negative.
back.
But it is a 0, so 10.
Run. Yeah, or both.
No, you watch intently and you're like, is something gonna happen? And all three of you do. Well, I guess all four of you do. You see the rock as well, obviously. But as you're watching, you don't see anything unusual happen. Nothing jumps out of the walls, but you just see the flame on the lantern next to this bookcase go and flicker to the right of the bookcase.
So wait, which wall's the bookcase on?
The opposite wall of the door. The wall that he flicked the towards the lantern. The bookcase is on the opposite wall. The lantern is also hanging next to the bookcase on that wall.
As the rock got closer to the torch.
Nothing happened, but as you guys were studying the rock, you noticed that the light in the lantern flickered as if pushed by some wind.
Could just be the
To
wind,
the
though.
right.
Could just be the
Yeah,
Or in this cavern.
I'll walk in here.
Can I
walk in.
see where the draft in the room is leading to see if there's maybe like a
Not without being in there.
I go in there, obviously.
If it's
After me.
You gotta pull
Yeah,
look
here's
out of
what's
that
going-
bookcase.
I turn my back to the door and keep lookout to see if I see who might be.
Now that I'm in the room, what do I see?
In short, neglected and abandoned mining gear.
Okay.
Is there a lot of coal?
Useful items, though. Obviously the lantern is functional, and you also see that on the wall, not opposite, adjacent to the bookshelf, is a unfolded prospector's map of the area around the shop.
Nice.
It's really old and kind of weathered. It could not take much punishment, but it is detailed enough. You can tell that it doesn't have like every feature, but whoever set up this mining establishment took the time to get to know the area and record it.
Asimir, can you make any sense of that?
Give me 1 second. I'm busting out a notebook right now, and I'm just going to make a very loose.
I'll take the lantern off the hook
No, leave that there. Leave that there.
violently,
It's not your lantern.
and I'll bring it over to Asimir so he can see.
Thank
See
you.
if there's any oil for that lantern.
Ceremoniously, you hear the oil inside go, and you hear the rattling metal as you just violently take it and move it. Nothing weird happens.
Yeah, I'm.
I say it that way.
He's trapped.
I take that back. I take that back.
Oh, Jesus.
Triple explosion.
He said,
Grab
wait,
that
no,
and-
traps.
And as the kind of unceremonious nature of her grabbing it off the wall and kind of making a show of it, as the resonance of that kind of fades away, Elara, you hear the sound of wind whistling through the back of the bookcase.
All right, so I note that. I walk over and set the lantern down beside Asimir. And I say, Galil, I think we're safe from that way. You ought to come check this out, though.
I think whoever lit that lantern's gonna be coming back, or they wouldn't have left the lantern lit.
We haven't done anything wrong.
We entered this person's.
Empty, deserted shack.
Well, somebody was obviously here because the lantern was lit.
Well, if they're all diplomatic, we'll just be able to tell them what we're doing.
Or we'll have to
I want to
kill
look
them.
around. I want to
Think
peek in and
things
see
feel
if I
very
see
weird in this fade.
like a bedroll
Yours.
or like anybody's food or like trash. Like they've been eating or living here.
Now you're thinking that too, like this is someone's stuff, but you see absolutely no indication that anyone is staying inside.
Yuriael, help me with this bookcase. Something is off about it. I think I feel a draft.
Yeah,
I definitely felt the draft as well.
You guys do that. I'm just going to make a trace of this real quick.
Just so you know, on your map.
Take it with you. See, it's gonna take too long to trace it.
Pull the other map out and see if you can
Okay.
cross-reference and see if you can see where the.
I don't know. The map is I mean, possibly.
Can we both pull it out and investigate?
I feel like the map is
Hold
a
the
little
lantern up
smaller
high.
scale compared
Still,
to.
you're a smart guy.
Yeah, like this map is
You're a school
more
boy.
scaled down. The prospector's map versus the one you have, which is more of an area map.
Scale it up.
So you can try to cross-reference it.
I suppose. Yeah, I guess I'll just do that and also try to trace the map on a spare notebook and paper.
It's an intelligence check. Just do. You could do investigation if you like.
+7. No, 10.
10.
11.
I mean, that's well enough to do a cross-reference on a map. What is it you want them to end up at?
Well, what did I want to do?
How it
Collide?
lines up with the overworld.
Yeah, we're looking for the tower. So ideally, it would be a passageway that goes up to the tower.
Okay, with a 10. Immediately kind of coming to terms with this was not an exactly made map and almost doing it in kind of a rush. You don't get the exact location for sure, but you know that based on where you are, where the tower is, and where you started, you're roughly a quarter to a third of the way to the tower.
Okay, so this isn't it. The tower's this way, I think. Which I'll go ahead and kind of point out on the map. Does the map look like if I took it down, it would like rip very easily?
It looks like it could.
Okay,
You know, it's not impossible. You've had some school training in preserving documents before, but you know, how confident do you feel that's up to you?
I think I'm just going to test my art skills. I've been doodling here lately. Maybe I can make a good sketch out of it. Is there a way I can?
Let's do a dexterity check.
Yeah. I just can't keep it on the book today. 5. 0 dex.
All right, you do your best.
I look over and I just cringe a little bit. Like, that doesn't look like it at all.
I'll put this on the fridge.
Put it on the book.
Despite you weren't able to pinpoint your exact location in reference to Bahamut's spine, you did spend enough time looking at this map in detail to tell that, you know, certain features in the area. And you quickly realize that this prospector camp is only a couple of miles away from a underground river system.
Oh, so that's what
That you hear running water because there is an actual river nearby.
And exactly the
Galil's brain blasting out front and he's pacing back and forth looking for whatever miner is coming back. And he remembers someone from town telling him about my family mining aethersite from somewhere underneath Bahamut's spine. So I want to.
Do you reveal this?
He starts having a
No, he's playing. Yeah, I just you see me
room starts
immediately
spinning.
spin around and like bolt inside, and I start like rummaging through all the mining equipment, trying to see if I can find any trace of aethersite.
And as he's doing that, Elara and Yuriael, you guys are trying to move this bookcase away from the wall, or
Before we start moving it, I want to like observe the bookcase. Like, are there any books on there?
Yeah, there's some old, like, dusty stuff, but it all looks like mining-related stuff. It's all deteriorated like that map, brittle and falling apart, but you are able to see script on pages and see that it's like manifests for trading, survey notes for finding certain ore deposits. Nothing that is tangible information, just indicative of what it was there for.
For trading, are there any dates, and like how old are they compared to where we are now?
You find a couple of readable dates, and some of the stuff's been down here for hundreds of years.
Okay.
I want to try to
relay that info to everybody.
I want to try to tug on the bookcase to the side that I'm feeling a draft from.
Okay. It's pretty heavy. It's got a lot of stuff on there. Do you try to...
I feel like it is the weight that is keeping me from doing it.
Yeah, it's a loaded down.
So do I need to make a strength check for it, or
17 investigation.
As you see Elara's kind of tugging on it, you look down and you see that there are visible drag marks that are coming away from the shelf.
So it looks like it pours.
Like it pulls out. Someone's already dragged this shelf many times before.
I want to go ahead and I motion over to Elara so she sees the drag marks and doesn't try and push it in the wrong direction.
Fine, help.
And then I'm gonna help her pull it back out like it looks like it slides out.
It's really tough to pull, but as you guys get it to start sliding,
yeah,
there's a clicking sound, and then suddenly the weight of this shelf suddenly feels relieved, and then you're able to drag it, and it spins and kind of slides off of this spot, and you see a part of the floor that like has a trap door in it, about 2 feet by 3 feet. Like it's really narrow, but you could slip through it if you tried. And there's just a small little section of the floor that's broken from the planks. Like the trapdoor doesn't completely go flush, and there's just a section behind the shelf where the draft is coming up through the floorboards.
Ooh, okay.
But the trap comes up and away from the wall. You have to get the bookshelf off of it so that you can flip it up. Which you have done.
Is there a pickaxe?
Yeah, there's my...
Great.
He said, "Come move this bookshelf."
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I've got no pickaxe.
I've got a yearning. I go over to where they're messing with the bookshelf and see if I can lift the trap door open.
Sure.
No, we gotta move the book.
You already moved
You
it.
guys already moved the case.
Oh, okay,
Sure. Yeah. There's no like handle or anything on it. It looks like where the handle was is where all the shit's broken off. And you just kind of reach where the broken planks are and pick this thing up, and the door is still relatively intact, just other than that splintered X section of it. And you just pull it back, and you see that there is a rope ladder well that just goes right down into the floor.
Throw the pickaxe over my shoulders and motion with my other hand.
Is this the wise decision? Because we are nowhere close to our tower yet. This is just something random on the way.
Are you sure?
This.
I mean, by looking at the map, maybe.
Yeah, this.
Look at it again.
This won't get us. This won't get us to the scream that we heard.
Are you sure?
Based off the map, I don't think it will. But what I do recall is a conversation I had back in town, where someone told me that they were mining aethersite somewhere underneath Bahamut's spine. So I need to check and see if there are any clues about my family down here, or if there's any raw aethersite, because I don't know if we'll ever get the opportunity to come back down here again.
Okay. Goliath says aethersite, and I perk up and immediately start paying attention. It's like, you know what? This is a very interesting idea, actually. I propose that we follow through with that for now.
How's the rope ladder left?
It looks good. It looks newer than the rest of the place.
Who's going first?
I will.
I'll
This
move second.
You going down in there?
Yeah, I'm going down.
The first thing you notice is that you would expect more cold air, being that there was a draft, but you feel that an instant rush of warmth hitting your feet as you begin climbing down.
People are down here.
Boiling hot magma.
Something's down here. I want to run my hand across the wall as we go and just see if I can see any aethersite in the walls, like veins.
You do see that it's cut into the earth and then lined with planks. So it's got a very smooth, almost finished quality to it.
Do I see anything distinguishingly dwarven?
No. I will say it's definitely not dwarven, but you get a familiar sense of it. Like it's hard to place because you're just in a ladder well.
It's not alien to me though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they didn't put a great deal of craftsmanship into it, but you can tell that it's someone that is comfortable with tools and has built this.
And does the shaft look less dilapidated than the shack above it?
Most definitely.
So it's newer wood stuff in here. Okay.
Yeah, you get the sense that just based on this that they just wanted it to seem innocuous by leaving it completely how it was.
Whoever is in this tunnel is awfully careless to have just left that lit torch burning unless they know we're coming.
Who else would be down here?
Yeah, who to hide from?
You guys have this conversation with ass cracks in people's faces.
Yeah, we're going to yelling back. Yeah. You guys be careful back there. Somebody reckless.
How far down does it come?
Galil, you hit the bottom after about 20 feet. And you step out, and you're immediately greeted with a low ceiling, maybe even a little low for dwarven taste, but you feel pretty comfortable in here. The rest of you are craning down a bit as you guys get into this place, but you see a very cozy, mostly woodcraft little domicile.
Now we're in somebody's house.
You can see it's the home of a smaller person, stature-wise, but it is definitely of some civilized origin. You see a hearth that is smoldering, not burning, but enough to keep this room warm. You see a well-furnished bookshelf, cozy furniture that looks like it's been handcrafted.
This is not what I was expecting.
And just a single bed.
Is it
I take that back. There's a single bed, and then there's also like some sort of animal like pen of some kind on the far end of this little burrow next to what looks like a little carved out tunnel that leads underneath the ground.
So
there's like a secondary entrance into this area.
So I was wondering, because if the bookshelf was covering it, that means somebody is not in here. But now that there's a second entrance.
Maybe. I can't help but take the opportunity to go kneel down beside the smoldering hearth and stick my hands out and warm them up because we've been traveling in the cold for a little while and my joints are hurting.
It feels really warm, and you notice as you bend down that there's like a wood trim around the stone banking of this hearth, and it's been meticulously like hand carved and whittled into like owl shapes and other animals, and there's just like an animal motif that kind of goes through it, and just something you notice.
I want to look around well.
There's a polish to it. Doesn't take long. There is a like pantry area, a little larder that is stocked full of mostly root vegetables, but there's a couple of fresh fruit in there. There's some dried fish. There's provisions to last somebody several months in this place.
Let me just say I feel slightly uncomfortable just being here uninvited. I mean, this feels like a B&E.
Does the passage go any deeper than this?
Yeah,
There's a tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, there's basically a hole in the wall. There's like, so to kind of describe it, like this little home, and then on the far end where this tunnel starts, that's where the edge of the pen is. So presumably whatever animal is staying in this vicinity stays on the outside of the pen, and then he just lives in this little stalled area.
I want to turn into a stoat form and run down the hole.
So you see Elara turns into an animal and starts scurrying off. You guys follow after, or you stay in the room and look around some more?
How big is the hole?
I'd say it's probably 5 feet high. It's circular mostly, like it's been just dug out with whatever. So yeah, it's about a 5 foot diameter hole.
And this is going to sound stupid, but it doesn't look like it was cut out with like, I don't know, simple tools, shovels, or possibly like claws or something.
No, not claws. It looks, I mean, it's hard to distinguish a claw mark from a spade mark, but it probably was done with tools.
Yeah, just make sure I'm dealing with like a mole man.
Could still be a mole man with tools, though.
Yeah.
Good one.
Even scary.
Yeah, even scary.
They're advanced.
Yeah,
It's flaunting some
industrial age mole man.
Well, you got to think, what kind of tools are they using if they're better than Mole Man?
Sophisticated tools.
While I'm running down, I want to smell and see if I pick up any scents.
You only get about 20 feet, so you can still see your allies, mingling around in this thing. And suddenly your nose is assaulted by the smell of fragrant dried plants like potpourri and dried out feces.
Oh, it's a garden.
What animal?
What animal?
What animal? Give me a nature check.
Dwarven.
The compost.
That's my shitting hole.
What are you sniffing about?
Shitting hole.
That's just for me.
Exactly what it is.
Go ahead and take your shit.
Because he's covering it up with potpourri.
They're not supposed to walk in there.
It smells like pig shit.
Peeing.
I guess Elara would be the only one who knows.
Is that the end of the
shit
hole?
smells like.
No, as you're going still, you smell this and maybe you flinch for just a moment because it is quite strong.
Is it fresh? I heard you say dried.
No, you wouldn't say
Dried
so. Like,
feces.
there's a mustiness to it. But you get to hear
13 days.
a murmur coming from ahead as the tunnel kind of meanders a bit. But you hear a voice.
Not one of them. I'll continue onward.
Keep going.
We're following behind him. I'm trying to keep up
At
with
like your full pace. You're gonna try to follow it.
Yeah.
Wow, this is interesting.
Interesting.
So as you guys are kind of like leg over leg climbing over the edge of this little pin, the little wall is not big and it's just made of like scrap wood essentially that crisscrossed in all sorts of random patterns, just some sort of barrier. But you guys kind of step over it like a baby gate and follow after the stoat into the darkness.
Wait, on my one, as soon as I hear the voices, who's going in first
Yeah.
of y'all?
I'll be the one to be
It is a
hesitant,
5 foot
I guess.
You're first?
No, he's last. I'll go
last.
first.
I will run back to Galil and like run up the wall on his hand and bite him on the finger. And then run back down.
For a second you think it's a radish in darkness.
Oh, yeah, sling it.
And then I make it like a and then I just run back down the tunnel.
How do you do that?
That's reeling. I don't know.
I have no idea what that means. I'm pissed though, so I follow after.
God dang it. Come back and bite him again.
If he comes back again, mate, I'm gonna smack him. That's his fault then, isn't it?
It's like a scene in Ratatouille.
Okay, so you start running back after you get their attention. So you guys realize it's Elara. Then you get running back in there. She seems panicked about something. Enough to bite Galil on the hand.
Yeah, I guess be careful.
As you go back, Elara, you're really the only one that hears it at first. The rest would probably just begin to hear the slightest murmur. But you hear this voice talking in the dark. And you hear it say, "Well, Wilbur, I guess it was kind of a long shot today, but, well, better luck next time.
Prospector.
Come on. What you doing?" And then
With a pig.
it begins coming around and you see yourself come around face to face with a what looks like a gnome and a almost too big to fit in this cylindrical hallway hog that's wobbling behind him, carrying like a pack sled on its back, like, well, not on its back, behind it.
As soon as I figure it's a gnome that is coming towards me.
And it sees you come around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, "Oh, hell, we got a visitor."
I'll like creep up a little bit too and just
He leans down and goes, "Well, hey there, little fella."
He bites.
not run up his pant leg.
"Oh, hell, Wilbur, help me. Help me."
Because y'all hear that at
Then you
that
hear
point.
this hog go, and it kind of backs up, and you hear it like scraping against the side of his
Going
normal.
to town. Yeah.
He's trying to shake you out.
Yeah, yeah.
This squirrel is looking for
I'm trying to distract him long enough. For what? So y'all can hear him and get out.
I
of
mean,
his house.
y'all definitely hear this sound.
I want to talk to him.
And there's a bit of light. Yeah. There's a bit of light coming, because he's carrying a lantern through the
I
tunnel.
like holler down the hole. Are you okay?
No, I hear that. I'm booking it. I'm leaving this place right
He
now.
kind of freezes. You guys don't see it, but Elara, I guess you notice. He stops moving and stops trying to fight you out of his pant leg. And
I
just
start
stands
fighting
there.
him.
You guys about to just freeze?
And he goes, "Wilbur, we got intruders."
He's asked for help. You okay?
And he's like, you can't see it because you're in his clothes, but he's reaching for something on his, just a little jangle on his waist, and then suddenly you feel as it hits you on the back with, feel this.
I'm about to bust up in this dude's pants.
Dude, imagine being like a stick of nickels.
And out of nowhere, you revert back to human form, and it flips him on his back, and you just kind of like apparate out of the bottom of his pants. The next thing you know, there's just a woman standing in front of him.
You ripped his pants off?
And, no. It doesn't do all that. She just kind of like rematerializes and then the next space over. But you see, he flips over on his back, falls prone, and he goes, "Oh hell, I'm being attacked!
You okay? I'm coming.
Now falling to hell. Asking for help.
Now we're about to roll initiative.
I'm here to help.
What is this? The one time I took charm person off my fucking list.
So I saw like his skin and everything. You said he's a gnome?
Looks like a gnome. He's it's kind of dark. But you get some torchlight. He looks pretty young for a gnome, like definitely healthy young adult gnome. He's got kind of stringy black hair that goes straight back between his ears and almost not quite a mane, but it's kind of tufty, and you can tell he just kind of streaks it back every morning and is like fine with that. And its mid-length goes back and kind of curls over his ears. So you see he's got a leather cap with old fogged over goggles. Like you can tell he's not looked through that lens in a very long time. Dirty clothes. You see the pig is equally disheveled, but both of them seem perfectly healthy and are thriving, at least physically,
Right.
at a glance. Yeah, but so like it's attacking you. You just jumped out of his pants. He looks freaked out. Still has a like bludgeon in his hand, a little cudgel.
Rat stick.
Yeah,
Stick.
beat stick.
It's exactly what it was for. Perfect thing. The situation before.
Oh, I know how to handle me a stove.
This man's a rat smack master for 3 years.
You said you run around and you're like, what, hands up, like, no, we're not here to assassinate you or what?
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, you okay? You need help? You sound like you're in trouble.
We don't know.
I'm in trouble. There's people in my house. I'm gonna kill you.
Oh shit! What?
Yuriael, pull out the howitzer.
Yeah, you just slowly circle around to his side.
On hell, that one's dressed like an assassin.
I turn back, I turn around, face him from him, like away from him.
Where is he at?
Arrow drawn. Where are they? Oh, no.
So initiative.
Yeah, unless you guys are sending something that will diffuse the tension.
We're gonna use initiative for
Looking
that.
scary as fuck.
So I round the corner and I say, "We mean you no harm. We are on a quest to find some information, and it has led us down this long cavern. We came upon your shack. We thought it was abandoned. We found this secret shaft and all the mining equipment, and I thought, my family might be down here because they used to mine down here. We mean you and your pet no harm."
Well, hell, why didn't you say so?
You did.
Sleep.
I thought them damn bullywugs sent you to assassinate me.
Bullywugs?
Well, hell, if y'all, do a little backpedal, I'll be more than happy to put you up in my house for a bit.
Let's leave.
This is a very courteous man.
Very good. He said, "I'll fucking kill you." Whoa! I heard him say that. Won't trust a man with a rat in his
Follows you guys back into the house and gets his pet pig bedded down right outside of that little gate, and offers you guys all some of the food that you've already discovered was there, but he gets you guys whatever you might like, and then plops down in his little chair, says, "Don't see a lot of faces down here, at least not topsiders."
Your ways down here, buddy.
Yeah, I kind of like it, kind of like my peace and quiet.
Kind of look down at myself a little bit, like topsider.
How do you get out of this?
Can I pet the pig?
Fine.
Sure. Wilbur's friendly for the most part.
Pet the pig.
You might want to wipe your hand off first. He might think it's food.
I'm like scratching behind the ears.
He's a little reticent at first, but as soon as you start getting him scritches, he just starts getting into it. He's a little extra portly. You can tell he's a very muscular pig, but he's also overfed.
I'm giving him the full scritches treatment.
And he's just like jowling and rubbing into it. And he just feels like a squishy little ball of fat in your hands.
You're the only other person who's petted.
The thing is quite large. Like it's still classified as a medium. entity, but it's filling up that 5-foot space well.
Pig is a medium entity.
Do you get out of here?
This one is.
It's like a hall, like a
How do I get out of here? Yeah, my little tongue takes me back out into the caverns.
Okay.
Do you
A little nice little hit
around
around
these caverns pretty well?
Just the area around the river.
Any chance you know the entrance to the tower?
I don't know much about no tower. I mean, some of these pillars are towers, but I mean, I don't think that's what you mean.
I see.
I pull out the pickaxe from behind my back and sort of push it forward and I say, I found this upstairs. Is this yours?
No, I mean, that ain't probably gonna look good for nothing.
Do you mind down here?
Oh, me? No.
No.
Did we ask this man for his name?
No. What's your name?
Tell us your name.
Oh, how rude of me. I guess
Galil.
I should have started. Nice to meet you, Galil. My name's Everett Templeton.
Everett Templeton.
Everett Yuriael Gloomraven, also known as the Red Mask.
All right, good to meet you. Red Mask.
I am Elara.
Laura.
Awesome.
Asimir Ashford here.
Thank you. On cue. Yes, my name is Asimir Ashford, and just yeah.
I want to Ashford, you say? That's interesting.
Yes.
You from around Bahamut time?
Not myself particularly. We live more closer to north. Is it no south? Where is? I'm trying to remember where my hometown is.
Your hometown is like province is over.
Yeah.
It's west though.
West. Okay. Not so much over here. I mean, I've had some family come up here every once in a while on a little bit of a research journey. And maybe you know him as Marius?
Oh, I don't know.
No?
Something about it. Ashford. I don't know. I feel like I've heard that before.
What about Oremender?
Oremender?
Yeah, they owe me money.
No. I don't. Sounds like a dwarven name though.
It is. I pull out
You fucking know.
my shackles
I'm insightful.
and I show him the metal that the shackles is made out of. And I say, while you're down here in these tunnels and going along the river and everything, have you seen any of this metal in veins?
That's kind of interesting stuff. No, I can't say I have, but you might try across the lake.
What's across the lake?
I don't know. That's why I said you might try across there.
Good point. Good point.
He wants us
Everett.
to die in there. Do you get up to Bahamut's spine very often?
Oh no, I ain't been up to the surface in probably 100 years.
Where do you get your food?
Down here, it grows under the ground. I mean, I guess I go up close enough to get into the topsoil, upper layers of the.
I'd very much like to see that.
He grows roots from underground. He grows plants up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
It's like the heirloom tomato.
I mean, honestly, I'm a much better gardener than I am a miner. It's kind of.
So, you've made your house underneath this little mining hut? Like,
Well, I mean, I know it looks well lived in. I get bored sometimes, but this is more of a temporary situation.
okay, but you lived in these tunnels for hundreds of years? 100 years?
Yeah, I used to stay about, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles northwest of here, but bullywugs took over all the territory out there. They're really making a mess of this place.
So the bullywugs in these caves?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then would it be wise to have the lit lantern above us? In the hut?
Oh, hell, that's still up there?
Yeah, that's how...
I gave it to you. Did you leave it up there?
I left it up there by the map.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I probably should have just left that up there. That was pretty innocuous, wasn't it?
Kind of. I mean, we were very, very intrigued by this place because of it. I don't want any other things finding us through that.
Oh, no offense. I'm happy for the company, but I did think y'all were trying to kill me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, go ahead, sorry.
no, yeah, it's after you.
I was just gonna say, well, we really need to get on our way, I think, and we don't want to put you out and stay here for a night or anything like that. And we don't want to eat up your rations, but you seem to know quite a bit about the creatures that are down here and the dangers that are down here. Could you point us in the direction of a safe path?
Yes, back the way you came.
No, ain't not. I'm doing that. Yeah, I'd be happy to help you out, but how about a little quid pro quo? I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
What do you need, Everett?
Do I have any trinkets for him? He's bored.
No, I don't need anything like that. I can find what I need. Out there, someone's lost it, and it's been washed down here at some point. What I need help with is these accursed bullywugs.
Oh, shit.
Side quests.
They've been making a fucking mess of the local ecosystem in more ways than one. There's some, you might have run across it while you're wandering around down here, but there's some massive serpents that live down here.
Yes, the dragon. We saw him.
We saw something very interesting, yes.
A dragon. A dragon, yes.
It crawled nearly right over us.
Big blue dragon.
On our way here.
Well, the reason that you saw them in the Cistern was because the bullywugs have managed to drive them out of the lake where they normally live.
Can I make like an insight check on this?
Sure.
I mean, not that, I don't know, maybe
You don't believe him.
I didn't think bullywugs in this climate.
It's cold.
Well, then again,
They're gonna have sticky skins.
17.
maybe the lower they get, the warmer they get.
Closer
to magma.
He doesn't seem like he's lying.
Okay.
So, these bullywugs, as you call them, are they intelligent beings?
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to call them intelligent like you or I, but
Would you say they have big teeth?
but they're smart enough to work together, and when they set their minds to them and get enough minds together, they can accomplish some pretty impressive things. They managed to, I mean, they haven't dammed up the river leading into the lake, but they've managed to essentially make their camp in the base of the mouth of the lake, or the river that leads into the lake, and have prevented the creatures from entering or exiting the lake. And it has, he kind of gets like this grim look on his face and kind of sinks low, and it says it has upset the lake guardian.
Is that what that big serpent thing is? The lake guardian?
No,
No.
they serve the lake guardian.
What?
Tell us about this lake guardian.
No, please, absolutely. In vivid detail if you have the ability.
Never had the pleasure of laying eyes on it myself, but they say that an even greater serpent lives under the water and patrols the borders of the lake.
This guy's up there. So, why are the bullywug here at all?
Because you said they're here to assassinate you. They didn't follow you up here for you specifically, did they?
Oh no, I mean they've always been around in the area, and I don't know. I guess for the last year or so, a couple years, they've gotten more wily, and then they got concentrated down at the end of the river. That's when things started getting strange.
Okay.
What I need from y'all is to see if y'all can go in there. I'll go with you. I'll lead you in and disrupt what's going on.
We
So
don't
that we can-
necessarily need to kill them.
I mean,
No, I don't know what you're gonna find, but if y'all can get them out of there and get these damn thunder serpents back into the water, that'd be great for me.
That'd be alright too.
I mean, I can run some espionage.
That's the thing. That's the thing, and I must point this out. I don't want you to kill the lake guardian serpents.
Oh, yes.
I want you to keep these bullywugs from interfering with what they do.
If I'm going to be quite honest, I feel like if we got into an interaction, they would most likely kill us before we ever got to touch them.
I don't think there's any bullywug in heaven, so
What?
I think I'm okay with killing them. Not in my heaven.
Okay. This is
Xenophobic over here.
This has been a look into Galil Oremender.
Hate bullywugs.
So, if we do,
But I love frog legs.
if we do rid these bullywug, how many are we talking, by the way?
Well, last I scouted out their camp, they had a few dozen,
When was the last time you scanned them in?
but that's only part of their numbers, I would be sure.
If we do rout these bullywug, what do we get in return?
What y'all asked for, tit for tat. What did you want me to do?
What did you ask him to do?
Give us safe passage.
Well, it sounds like we'd be giving ourselves safe passage.
Give us your pig.
Well, essentially, yeah. I mean, it does help you. Because
Now I think about it.
because, like I said, the lake guardian is not going to be happy with anyone in the water right now.
How much of
Where do you
this,
go? 'Cause
how much of these cases are you familiar with?
Just about everything west of the lake.
If we take care of your bullywug
Great
problem.
part of the Cistern.
Would you help guide us to where we need to be?
Sure.
Okay, I'm in.
How big is this lake?
Thinks about it for a second. He said, if I had to think off the top of my head, I've never been all the way to the other side of it, but it's easily 10 to 15 miles from this end to the east side of it.
If we were the bullywugs, do you think the late guardian would give us passage?
Well, I don't rather know for sure.
Couldn't hurt.
It definitely couldn't hurt. I don't know if you've noticed any trembling or shuddering going on the top side, but this late guardian can shake the very walls of this cavern.
Okay. Well, let's see what we can do.
Real quick. What was his name again?
Everett.
Everett. We're the only topsiders that you've seen down here in a while, right?
Pretty much since I came down here.
100 years.
Why did you come down here?
Like I said, I left it peace and quiet. I could be on my own. Plenty of time for whittling and exploring this ice cavern.
And this sounds like a stupid question. Bullywug, they would have maybe like webbed feet.
Yeah, or any of us.
Most definitely. Yeah. Well, little frame feet. Now that you mention it, we talk about topsiders. I did remember seeing a couple at their camp. They didn't look like they was there willingly.
Edgar's crew.
Interesting. Now we have all the more reason to help you and ourselves.
I went over to Yuriael and I say, only kind of man that hides himself away in a hole for 100 years is a man with a curse.
Or dwarf.
Or man on the
For
road.
someone who wants to be left alone, I too prefer a life of solidarity.
Where'd you get?
What was I rolling? Insight? 10.
2.
Wonder if that pig was always a pig.
He seems like he's trying to avoid the topic of why he's down here.
This man, you have some bad beef with like a person you like? I mean,
I will also say to the 10, since that is very manly, while you do feel like he's hiding something, you do also says that he has become very comfortable living here too.
Yeah.
Like he may have once been running, but now he's just living in.
Like now this is his home.
Well, we would hate for you to live in this cavern with things being so disturbed, and the fact that you've told us that there's a couple of topsiders down there makes us want to. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
No, not that. We're scrapping over that.
I mean, y'all look a bit of bed dragger. Y'all need some rest before we head out.
I mean, I'm feeling well. I mean,
Might be the last time we get to sleep in near a hearth around a fire for a
We could have a
minute.
short rest at least. You need
Cause I wouldn't mind. I mean, like he kicks off these like
crusty old boots.
boots, and there's like just a puddle of moisture in the heels of them.
Guys, like
I can give you a small sermon on Andromeda if you'd like.
do you have
Sure, I'm good for some mythology.
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 Watch your mouth.
I'm just playing.
It's a lot of D8s,
I like to have some recorded type every once in a while. It's not the power, it's the message.
I apologize, but I'm not much for conversing. Do you mind if I peruse your bookshelf?
Yeah, by all means. I mean, you won't find much educated literature up there, but
I'll exchange one of my rations. I'll give him one of my rations, which has a lot more topside berries and stuff. Actually, it has my fey berries and stuff in it.
Dude, he's gonna eat that berry and he's gonna be tripping.
Well, just some weird berries that I had from the Feywild, some rations that survived that.
Some mushrooms I found.
Just some mushrooms I found.
And I want to look through his bookshelf and just see what kind of reading he's doing.
See, I'm also kind of thinking like if we would take a rest here, that's longer. Edgar's family is trapped with.
Yeah, that's why he said short rest, 30 minutes max. Just
you
enough to
see
eat first or
it's an
so.
extremely eclectic collection of books of various age and condition. Most of them are in pretty bad shape. But it's like topics all over the place, like from like full-on romance novels and adventure books to like collections of essays and things like this. It looks like he's just like
whatever he could
books,
find. Yeah.
and, like now I have books because I found them.
All right. Well, I'll peruse one of the romance novels and just read into it.
Get a sad wank.
No pictures. Yeah, sad link.
We do a lot of illustrations in the Feywild. All right, so as you guys get comfortable for the night in this little gnome's hovel, ready to set out to clear out these bullywugs for this guy and hopefully exchange for quicker passage across this massive underground area. So that's where we're going to end our session.
All right.
Wow.
Y'all don't know, man. It's pretty late. I mean, y'all know that our listeners don't know. We don't do this at 9 a.m. or anything. We do it after work. It's almost midnight.
Almost midnight in 3 hours.
No.
It's 11 o'clock.
Underdark Part 2 coming soon.
Yeah, but it's dangerous as fuck.
That's where we're
I
at.
feel like we know if we were properly in the end.
I'm knowing it.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of
You would have known if you decided to tickle that fucking lizard on the belly.
Yeah,
Almost did. I thought about it and I was like,
I'm glad.
Yeah, and then he gave me the stones to pull the trigger.
no.
Well, we'll find out if you guys are tickling serpents or not on a later episode. Thanks everyone for listening. If you like what we do, please leave us a review.
Yeah.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, goodbye.
Have a good one.
I think we're gonna bring the children here.
So yeah, I mean, like penguins.
Wilbur, hold my beer.
Pig count.
Put that on a shirt.
As we share our adventures, as we here. So come raise your glass to the hero.